So going back to this is what I'm really curious about. I want to know like the early days of when you actually started the brand and the company, because what I think is quite interesting is you were still doing the football thing whilst you launched the brand. Like, how did you juggle both?
When I look back at that period, I don't know how I did it. I was so exhausted. So I think at the time I was still at City. I just left City when I launched the brand. I think it was a close period.
How old are you?
22. I'm 31 now.
Where'd you get the idea from? Like, you're like, all right, I want my own clothing brand.
It wasn't that. So my closest friend Lewis at the time, he just started Gymshark. So I think Gymshark was a year in, not the Gymshark, as today it was 50K revenue or whatever it was.
So he was the co-founder. Did he initially have 20% in it or something?
He still has 17%, yeah.
He's not sold it?
He won't sell. He's got too much money, which is cool anyway. Like, yeah, he deserves that. He was a big inspiration of why I did it.
But that's pretty cool that you had a friend from such an early age that was kind of already in the business. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better friend in terms of like advice and stuff. It
wasn't a case of advice because it was like a startup. So those two guys had a vision, didn't know how to put it together, was very naive and inexperienced as you should be as an entrepreneur, especially 12 years ago. So it wasn't advice. It was more like a close friend. Oh, I'm doing something in gym wear because I love gym stuff. You should do something in fashion because you dress cool. And then it was like, oh, fuck it, let's start a business. And I was obviously leading everything. And I guess what he gave me or inspired me was you can do it. You are doing something. You're still putting numbers on the board. So I think with everyone, you need someone close to you who can show you what can be done. And even to this day, obviously think, we've got myself, Ben, who's obviously the co-founder of Gymshark, Reece, who's founder of Able because of Alice. We're all at different levels now, and we overtake each other in different breadths. So we all inspire each other along the way. Like, I'm opening the store. That's all my decision. When I open the store, I'm sure they will see the store a success and, gain confidence from that, or vice versa. I'll see something that they're doing and go, well, he's my mate and I know what he's capable of and he showed me it can be done. And sometimes you need someone close to home or someone who or looks like you to do something to know it can be possible. So he was like, a big push. But other than that, there was not much.
He's a co-founder as well.
Yeah. So whether it's naively, and to be fair to that point, it was Ben as well. So
Ben Francis.
Yes. But Lewis and Ben were close at the time. And Lewis is a very straightforward, honest person. And Lewis, me and Ben weren't close. It was me and Lewis. We were like inseparable as kids. And when Lewis said it to me, I was like, oh, cool, we'll do it together 50-50. And he was like, nah, like Ben is my business partner. And I was like, well, Ben doesn't even, he's not even involved in this conversation. And Lewis being a loyal guy, he was like, well, I need to bring in my business partner because we do everything together. And I was like, all right, cool. So and in the beginning,
he wanted to bring Ben in. So it would have been a three-way thing,
which came to bite Lewis in another way, not to with MDV. So in the beginning it was actually 33. Again, after it would have been 6 months, that changed quickly because obviously I said to those guys, like, you guys are doing your thing. You don't have any care about what I do. You don't know fashion, and it's not like you're not giving me any knowledge because I was always the smart one anyway. So that changed quickly to 66% to me, and they had 17% each. One thing I will grant Ben is that he always said, I'll sell you your shares at due course. So I think after 18 months or 2 years, I bought those shares off him, which left me with 83%, Lewis with 17. And then I think at that point, Lewis was still involved in Gymshark, and he then obviously went through the situation, sold part of the business, and obviously had the big sellout at the end. And now he's investing in with our other friend Reece, who has, because of Alice and Able. So yeah, it was an interesting start. And again, and I know when you start a business as anyone, you always want to do it with your mates. It's like no one goes at it alone unless you've seen it been done by somebody else, which in my sense, I'm very lucky because my equity is extremely high. It's higher than I think nearly everybody who's got a brand probably is actually at this scale. So yeah, Lewis with his 17, no problems at all.
He still kept that equity today.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 100 million in the bank. What's my money going to do for him? So yeah, I mean, I've had that conversation with him once about selling equity, and The good thing and the bad thing, Lewis knows what I'm capable of. He knows my intelligence. He knows my drive. So he'd be very foolish of him to sell any shares until I sell the company, which makes sense. If I was him, I'd do the same thing. And like I said, like without him, I wouldn't have ever started the brand. I took the brand to this level, and I know that there's few people who can do what I can do, or would be able to do what I can do to this day or again. And he knows that, hence why he won't sell. So that's good for him. And I, like I said, if I was him, I'd do the same thing.
What would you have done in the situation? Let's say, for example, take yourself back to that point in time. You got the idea for it, but you were going to go all in and do it yourself. How do you reckon you would have done that? Because I think this is, I think the most difficult thing when it comes to starting a brand is that initial injection of cash to buy the first season or release or whatever you're going to sell.
Well, I was lucky because I played football at the time. As I said, I was 22. I turned professional, so I never needed that. Those guys didn't give me any capital, so it wasn't like I had more money than them actually at the time. So it was just almost like, I'm a bit nervous. Let me go in with a friend rather than I need you as a partner because I want to split the payments. It wasn't that. It was like, I've got the money. I'm going to buy all the stock anyway. So it was probably the element of doubt which everybody has when they start anything. And also they was doing something. They still had a little bit more knowledge than I had with a supplier or a distribution. But like I said, on a small scale. And obviously MDV was at the time actually growing much faster than Gymshark was. Of course, they took off after they hammered influencer marketing, which they was the trailblazers in that sense. So we was growing pretty fast. So it was at equal helms at one point. But yeah, I could have started alone, but it's easy to say that I wouldn't have started alone. That's the truth, because I didn't know what to do in the sense of, why would I go into a business loan when I'm playing football? At this time, I'm still a professional football. It was almost like, okay, well, my mate's doing it, so I'm going to do it. You know how it goes. That's just how things happen. So, yeah, I don't know. It's easy to say hindsight's a wonderful thing, but the situation it is now is, the best situation it could have been. I'm making my friend rich every day, and he gave me the push. That's what friends are for.